Black Girl Podcast where we discuss everything carefree, black, and
girl.
What's up, y'all? Shay, Nika, what's up?
What's
Gang
up?
in this week, gang in
How
this
has
week.
it been the last few weeks?
Honestly, I've been good, y'all. Today, mostly I've been sleep. Not gonna lie, I've been sleep super hard, but I'm excited for today and come back with y'all and talk, chit chat.
Yeah.
How y'all been? How y'all been?
I've been doing good. I can't really complain. I showed up for work every day.
Period.
Yes.
Monday through Friday. I was there.
Accomplishment.
I didn't call
Clocking in.
out. I didn't fake
love to hear
sick.
it.
Boy, I was this close to being like, a pipe just burst in my apartment. I need to go home. I was digging, child, trying to find something. But you know, a girl showed up. Jimmy Turner World Tour is going really good.
That's
So
what's up.
if you're in the Atlanta area, you need tooth gems. I mean, that's goes without saying. But outside of that, it's been pretty eventful and, you know, just chill. I'm trying to think. Is anything? Yeah, it's been pretty chill.
Period.
Anything new in life?
Not really. Same thing. Nika been really sleep today. I was supposed to try Pilates this morning, but
Oh, okay, now
I was
Pilates.
too late for my session, and I said, you know what? No. So I just went and got my nails done. And
I just want to got my let's do the nails.
You know, self-care.
It's the same,
Ooh,
you know, or
not
self-care.
A little Milky Way.
Yeah,
you
you know.
know, so slight.
same as the
Yeah, so slight.
same as the OG. I always get the same color, but yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Mhm.
We also have another guest today.
Yes.
Ateara. So I'm gonna let y'all know who she is if you do not know.
Yeah.
With an undergrad degree in mass media arts from CAU, Ateara has the unique ability to negotiate and draft contracts ranging from entertainment-related employment agreements and arrangements to agreements addressing the monetization of intellectual property. She gives valuable consultations regarding brand management and career strategy for the upcoming and well-seasoned artists, music, film, TV producer, manager, talent, you name it. She's booked. She's
Booked and busy.
She's experienced informing businesses of various forms and is well versed in the protection of intellectual property through trademarks and copyright.
Hey.
You
got through it though.
I
Yeah.
did.
Break it.
my way through it.
Welcome, Ateara.
It's so wordy, bro.
No, but it's okay. You can explain yourself better than I can
Definitely.
read. Clearly.
I'm like, should
Yeah.
I condense that down a little bit? Because it's like entertainment law is kind of hard to define because it kind of incorporates like a couple of different types of laws, like
Right.
intellectual property law, business law, and depending on what's happening, sometimes tax law, comes into play. So when people are like, "Oh, what does an entertainment lawyer do?" It's multifaceted, and within it, you can find kind of like your niche. Like specifically, my niche is contract drafting and negotiation for the most part, and strategy, of course, behind like how you should release your IP and how to protect it while you're trying to release it, essentially. So, yeah, I am originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Yeah, fun stuff. I came to Atlanta for college. And of course, it's because I saw College Hill and I was like, I'm going to Clark.
Yeah.
And it gave
That's all
exactly
it
what it
took,
needed
huh?
to
That's
give.
all it took.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yes.
needed. And it gave me exactly what I was looking for. Is exactly what I got. So there's that. Then I went to law school, which was also here as well at Atlanta John Marshall Law School.
Okay.
And then, took the bar, passed it on my first try, and here we are.
Hey.
Baddie. Pass it on my first try. Just sprinkle that in there.
I know, let me just.
Yeah.
No, for real.
That's just what she
That
does.
test is hard.
How did you arrive at like your niche within this?
Yeah, so because I have a mass media background, essentially like all of my friends were trying to be, TV personalities, radio personalities, music producers, actresses, actors, film producers. So I kind of got the idea of it, or at least started falling in love with the entertainment industry as a whole in college. But when I got to law school, it's kind of where I figured out that this kind of thing existed.
Right.
One of my friends had kind of left school to go be a producer. He was doing really well. He had a couple, major placements, and we reconciled when I was in law school, like I just happened, we just happened to get connected, and he was like, you need to meet my lawyer. Like, you're doing exactly what you said you was going to do when you was in college, which I think is crazy. And you need to meet my lawyer because she's where you're trying to be. And I was like, yes, link me, link me. And so I linked with her, and to this day, she's still my mentor. And because of her, I was able to touch a whole bunch of contracts and deals and negotiate a lot of things that as a first and second year attorney, a lot of people can't say they have. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
Well, I'm so excited you're here because I actually have an interest in entertainment law, and I know that you have to kind of figure out the niche or like where you're going for, because I've been looking into it for probably like the last 3 years, trying to figure out what should I do. And then I've heard about Atlanta John Marshall. John Marshall. Yes, I've been seeing that a lot too.
They have a lot of Black students, which is one of my favorite things about that school. Yeah, they have a huge BOSA, which is a Black Law Students Association.
I was like, tell me.
Right.
Yeah, they have and they're very involved. So, they were very helpful throughout my entire matriculation. So,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved being there, essentially. I try to go back and give back as much as I can because it was pivotal for me being there, So.
And I also like how you brought up, the fact that you had a mentor, or like, that one connection was all it took for you to really have that guiding light. Could you speak a little bit more to what having a mentor has done for you as a professional?
Absolutely. You cannot get in the game without a mentor, period. Like, it's either in this industry, it's like you're either born into it, you smash into it, or you're friends with somebody in it.
Right.
There's no other way unless you have an exceptional talent, right?
Right.
So for me, I was like, okay, I know I'm good at networking. I'm good at talking to people for the most part. So I kind of use that as my way in. And also, I just had I don't know how to explain it. I just had tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And whatever she needed, even if she didn't need it, I was pointing out stuff that she needed. And I was like, hey, I see that you haven't had this done. You need this done. Let me do it. You know? And that's how it was for her for a long time, because I recognized the value in just being in the room. I was like, one of my sayings was like, I just need a toe in the door. That's it. Just leave it cracked. You ain't got to open it for me all the way. Just crack it, and I'm in it.
That's definitely that CAU mentality right there.
Yeah, come on, CAU.
She was the person who cracked that door for me, and that was it. It was over with from there.
That's beautiful.
That's
I agree.
perfect.
I feel like entertainment law is so interesting.
Yes.
And so, like, I don't know. It's like such a, like, it's not a rarity, but it's like, it's gold. Like, I have so many questions, so many interests. Like,
Cause there's it's so much stuff that you want to do. It's easy to be, or it's not easy to be, but a lot of people want to be the creative or the person in front of the camera, but it's a whole business. It's a whole world behind the camera, behind the microphone. Like, if you're going to be putting stuff out, you need somebody to protect your IP. You need somebody who's going to, have your best interests at heart and stuff. So that's beautiful that's what you're doing, and we're in awe.
literally.
Literally.
So I know you said there's a lot that goes into entertainment law, and it's such a broad term. So can you tell us a little bit more about entertainment law and like kind of what you do and how it's different from all the other sectors?
Got you. So there's like two main types. There are the transactional attorneys, which is what I do. We handle mostly paperwork, negotiating contracts, And then there's litigators, where it's like, if there's a dispute because of those contracts and we can't resolve it through means outside of, going to court, then you have litigators who spend all day suing each other, suing everybody, usually on the basis of those contracts or the basis of like verbal agreements that didn't occur, or something that's going on where, the situation we tried to work out on the transactional side didn't really happen.
So that's like what Phaedra did.
Phaedra was a litigator in there with Bobby Brown.
She actually was both. So there are some attorneys who do both. For me, I don't like litigating. I've done it. I'm good at it.
That would make me nervous, honestly.
I prefer not to. And that's just because of how I want my life set up. Right. But I know a lot of attorneys who do both. And I know some attorneys who just litigate. So for me, like, I have a Rolodex of specifically Black lawyers, entertainment lawyers who like I can refer out to for different reasons. Like I know tax attorneys, I know immigration lawyers, etc. Who like, because there's so many other, like I said, entertainment law is multifaceted, and sometimes, it takes having these other relationships so that you can say, hey, I might not be able to offer that service, but I know somebody who can. I've vetted them and they already know your situation. It will be a smooth transition.
Right.
And that's how I kind of handle myself. But there are a lot of people who do both. And shout out and kudos to them because it's very hard.
Yeah.
Because both things, I'm not going to say either of them are like ridiculously hard or one is harder than the other, but both are time consuming. So to be an attorney who does both, it's hard because what do you prioritize? It's hard to prioritize things in a way that makes everybody happy. Right. Is what I'm noticing. Because like when I notice on the transactional side is that sometimes the attorneys who also litigate take forever to get back to us for things that could have been done in 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 days, because they also are worried about their trials.
Right.
And then on the flip side, as a transactional attorney, if you do it too long, right, you kind of forget how to threaten people in the right way.
Right.
Because we're so used to like trying to make it work and trying to, kind of get everything together, because success to us isn't necessarily, somebody winning and somebody losing. Success to us is the project coming out. Success to us is like, everybody
both parties getting what they need. Yeah.
So sometimes when it becomes an issue, remembering that you still got that litigator bag, is good for people who are, too far off on the transactional side. So I like to keep up with a lot of the stuff that's being litigated. And I keep a Rolodex of all the different complaints and stuff like that because I'm just an uber nerd. So
that's good.
Does really good at attaching the case files themselves, like as they report about them. And Billboard, I'm like a professional Billboard. I have a professional Billboard dashboard rather. Okay. So I keep to date on all of like the business stuff on Billboard. And they also like to attach case files. So if you're interested in looking at that type of stuff, that's where you can find it.
Okay.
Very interesting.
I have a question. What do you think, like, what are the best parts of a contract? Like, what are you looking for when going into that? What does a good contract consist
what
of?
are you not looking for?
And what are you not? Yeah.
So what you really want to pay attention to is, what am I obligated to do in exchange for this money or this thing that you're supposed to be giving me? So what is the transaction?
Okay.
Who's transacting? Well, what are they transacting? What are my obligations for this money? Essentially is usually what's going on. So when you're going to get paid, how you're going to get paid. Can I audit you if I don't think it's correct? Those are all important things. And usually in IP, it's how long is this license? What kind of grant is this? Am I giving this to you forever? Am I giving this to you for a limited period of time? True. What parameters am I putting around the use that you're using it for? Like those are all like really important things. And also credit. Are you crediting me?
Yeah.
Are you trying to take my credit off? Are you, what are we doing? So those are like the real, like important stuff that you want to just figure out off the top of your head. Like, what are we doing here? Essentially.
Right. True.
Usually with the agreements, because they can get so long and arduous, we start off with a proposal or a short form that has all of the material terms in it. So that way it's like, if we negotiate and we agree on these things, then we can even get here. Because we don't want to get here if we can't even agree on these things. Essentially. That's how that works.
The meat and potatoes.
Exactly.
So this can be like any type of contract, right?
Kind of. Mostly recording agreements. So the agreements between the artist and the label, the agreement between the producers and the artists and the labels, if there's feature artists, that type of thing. Right. Songwriters and their participation. So like everybody who touches the album has to get a contract. Essentially. If they're getting royalties, if they're getting paid in some form or some shape or form, there has to be some kind of contract that memorializes that. But then also there's also like a lot of NIL rights. NIL rights are name, image, likeness. Okay. So there's a lot of that as far as like brand partnerships and sponsorships, et cetera, things like that I also do, which is kind of like a part of being an entertainment lawyer as well.
Okay, word. So working with artists, what are some of the most common mistakes you've seen them do in like signing contracts?
I mean, the most common mistake is not having a lawyer in the first place.
True. Come on now.
Which, you know.
But what if you're just starting out? Like,
It's a sweet spot.
Yeah. This is the thing. It's like, you know, do you want to give up 5% of your money now? Or, you know, 25% of your money later when you didn't have somebody look at it and now you don't even know what these percentages are, how they work, you know, who's getting what. You know, if you don't understand those things, you're actually losing money later. But up front, it looks like you're losing money now, you know.
Right.
So I dig it, especially when, like, this is your first check or your first lump sum check. And, like, I don't want to share this with anybody. They may or may not already have a manager that they're already giving 15 to 20%. So they're like, you know, another 5% on top of that. You know, and I completely understand the logic. But for me specifically, because I do this because there are not a lot of people who look like me who do this.
right.
And there are not a lot of people who can break it down to you in a way that you would understand the way that I can. And I give grace where I can. So it's like when I care about those factors, like this is your first check, this is this, you know, this is that. I'm not sure about whatever it is, whatever have you. So I'll work with you if I can, you know, to a certain point, because, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup and, you know, I can't help you if I'm broke. So there's that. But I still will try to work with you, you know what I'm saying, as far as my fees, because I understand how that feels, you know, and a lot of people aren't going to do that. They're just like, my rate is my rate.
Yeah.
What is like an average rate that like somebody should expect? Like say like a new talent or maybe you're licensing for a new film or something like that. Like what should somebody expect when they're trying to seek a lawyer?
Sure. So it depends on what kind of talent you are. So if you're an artist, it's going to be a little bit different for an artist than it is for a producer than it is for a writer. Right?
Okay.
So across the board, it's 5%, right? 5% is like the normal. But for my producers specifically, because their fees or their advances, the amount of money that they get up front can range from $500 to $50K, you know? So for me, I take my percentage based off of what your amount is going to be. So if you're making under a certain amount, then my rate is lower. If you're making over a certain amount, my rate is higher. And then I have like a standard minimum that applies once you get to a certain level, essentially. So I do it that way because it's like the more money you make, the more money I make. You know what I'm saying? The less money you make, the less money I make, you know? So it's like you feel like I'm going on the ride with you rather than just being like, this is my rate. I don't care if you're making $1,000, you know? You need to pay me.
800, 500.
I don't
It's
give
ridiculous in my opinion, because it's like you still got to eat and you still got to be able to make this music. And my job doesn't exist if there's no content to move in the first place. So I keep those things kind of, I keep those things in the back of my mind, you know, when I'm making these decisions rather.
Have you ever had like a wild request on either side? Just like, wow.
Every day,
yeah.
I think a big part of my job is literally just mitigating expectations, managing expectations, and bringing people to reality.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean that I'm trying to, because I am naturally rebellious. So I naturally
rebellious one.
I'm naturally like, oh, this is the box. Well, we going over here. So I don't like to put a damper on people's ideas. But what I try to do is give them realistic expectations of what may or may not occur when they ask for those things.
Right.
So it's like, I'll ask for it for you, but just know that this might happen and this might happen. So you know what you want to do, because I'll still do it, because I'm down to just be radical and be like, this, my price is my price. What you gonna do? Like, I love that energy. I love having that energy, but also, like I said, I don't want to lose the deal either. It's a balancing act, you know. So you want to push a little bit, but you don't want to push so far that they're like, we don't want to do the deal at all. Right? Exactly. So it's a fine line.
That's a good question.
That's a good answer. What are you saying?
Hello.
Like, I really appreciate you coming in here and putting us on game. So
for real.
I mean, look, you're already in your Grammy, your Grammy decked out.
What we talking about?
You came here ready. I see you
With
got
the
that
merch.
shit on. I see you got that
This is
shit
their
on.
swag from last year. Actually,
Last
this
year.
wasn't that. Yeah, this year the swag wasn't as cute.
So
I'm not gonna lie.
So you had to go in the archives.
Well, you gotta buy it. Actually, it's like merch, you know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes like they have goodie bags and you can sometimes get it in your goodie bag. But this one I bought last year because it didn't come. They just had T-shirts in the bag. I was like, I want that particular.
Period.
Right.
I need something with a little weight on it. A little weight. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, and when you're in the Grammys, you know, Academy, you know, you got to have a little weight on it. So speaking of the Grammys, we know that it just passed not too long ago. There's a lot to talk about with the Grammys, child. But so I want to start with kind of how do you feel about where the Grammys are going now? Their new rebranding and their desire to make it feel more inclusive and, you know, just kind of where they're going at. How do you feel about the current state?
I love that they're trying. I'm going to start there because they don't have to try. I mean, yeah, there'll be some backlash, but at the end of the day, we're 13% of the population. If they decided that they didn't want to include us, they could decide that they didn't want to include us. Of course, we can boycott and all of those things. But the fact that they're just like, you know, maybe there's something we need to look at, you know. So I appreciate that. Do I feel like they can do better? Of course.
Absolutely.
You know, I always feel like it's never enough. Honestly, all of these corporations, I feel like you're trying, but it's not enough. I need more, you know. But I do feel like we also, in that same breath, have to save space for the fact that, okay, at least they are trying. Because historically, they have not, you know? So I feel like they're headed in a good direction. I feel like they just need to keep going. And I feel like there's a lot more that they still have to work on, but I like the direction.
So is it like everyday normal people can put their insight into
Absolutely not. No.
Because, you know, like they had Grandma Geraldine up there, and they had Tisha from down the street during there. They had Jacob from State Farm.
Hello.
They had a whole round table of just, you know, a regular average day. Are they in the meetings deciding?
No, that's something you break it down to you because there's even two types of members, right?
Okay.
So I am a Recording Academy professional member, which means I don't vote, but I'm affiliated with talent in some capacity. That's usually the A&Rs, managers, lawyers, etc. Like all of the teams surrounding the artist or the producer or the writer can join the academy as a professional member. Right. So like I said, I can't vote, but I can encourage others to vote. I encourage my peers to vote. If there is something that I want to add to something to be voted, I can do that too, but I cannot vote myself. And then you have the voting members. The voting members are members of the Recording Academy who are active in the music industry. When you go through your application, you have to prove that you're active, but in some means, usually like, you know, your website or, you know, articles written about you or, you know, certain verifications rather.
And not to cut, now what does it mean by active? Like, could I have made a song in the 80s and now today I want to be in there?
No, it has to be relevant within the last, I think 5 years. Don't quote me on that, but it has to be pretty relevant. Okay. So, the way that you even get to the application is you have to be, nominated for the application. And that's whether you're professional or voting. So two people who are already members of the Recording Academy have to essentially nominate you. And then once you get 2 nominations, then you get access to the application. Then you get to go through the application process. So the people who vote in the Grammys are active members of the music industry, essentially. So it's not everybody that can vote at all.
So like people who work at labels, artists themselves. Like,
correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like a DJ Khaled could be on the. If
I'm cracking up.
Exactly.
Okay. Probably.
He probably is.
He probably is.
So that makes it a little more like, oh, you are my peer.
Also chapters. So like I'm a member of the Atlanta chapter. They have the LA chapter. They have the Nashville chapter. They have the New York chapter. You know, and they all do different things at different times. But all of us that are a part of it, whether professional or voting, have the opportunity to purchase tickets to go to the Grammys. You only get tickets for free, not for free, but you only get gratis tickets when you are nominated. So
how much does a ticket to the Grammys cost?
I'm cracking.
So it ranges because they have tiers, of course. So it ranges from like, I think the cheapest one was $350 and the most expensive one was like $2,500.
Sure.
I usually get like
cheaper than Beyonce tickets.
I'm cracking up
At this point.
At this point.
How was your overall experience just being at the Grammys? From like, were you on the red carpet, or at least see the red carpet? And then
Did you touch the red carpet? Girl.
It was actually a good Grammys this year.
Did you breathe the same air? Let's get to it.
Yes, I did, and it was no, just like, but no. So I didn't go on the carpet, but it was just because I was too late. I could have probably went on with my one of my clients. His name is Dixon. He actually won a Grammy for his work on Renaissance with Beyonce.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Yes, congrats.
Check him out because he's a genius, and he's also one of my favorite clients because he told me, I think in our second meeting, that if he didn't decide to do music, he wanted to be an entertainment lawyer. So we have a lot of great discourse all the time about things that are going on, and because he's one of my more well-informed clients, makes my job easier.
Yeah, right.
And so like that's all, like I don't even know. Talking to him is like being in law school again. You know, we're just like
keep you sharp.
Ideas, and just, you know, iron sharp as iron, diamond sharp as diamond. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. But yeah, so I missed the carpet, and so did he, because we was tired. Because it's like a week and a half of events, and there was there were things happening.
I saw so many parties.
It was honestly, it was. They were like, we outside. They were like, there's no more COVID. We are outside. Now, not the Grammys themselves. They still have certain regulations in place. But like all of the parties and stuff, they were like, we're outside. Everything was simultaneous. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. Throughout Instagram, that's what it was giving. Throughout the whole Instagram. If your man was out at Grammy week, he's gone. You've lost him. He's probably found himself a little Dirk, and he has a nice new home. Like they was outside. It was a whole thing.
It was outside. Like it didn't even matter if you were like confirmed for something, because everything was at capacity. So they were like, sorry, you know. Yeah, no, it is what it is.
So the whole hustle and bustle, the getting ready for the Grammys, how did you feel? Like, put us in Ateara's mind getting ready.
So I was actually very upset because so I flew in and I was trying to get my hair done like that first day.
Right.
And my hairstylist flaked on me. So I was mad. But luckily, you know, I have enough hair on my head and I know how to do my own hair. So it worked out. I just didn't want to have to worry about that.
Right.
But for me, I realized, and one of the good things about, you know, my personality that works in this industry is I'm extreme. Like I'm Gemini. I'm a Gemini.
Gang, what's your birthday?
Hey, May 28th.
June 5th.
I'm Gemini. Different.
It is a big difference. It is a big difference.
But yeah, I'm very fluid. I go with the flow. So it's like if I have to pivot, I pivot. Yeah. And it is what it is, because it's like, you know, the show must go on. You know, they say these things because there's some truth. There's a little bit of truth in there, you know. So yeah, it was a lot. And then just the party list, if I just showed it to you, if you saw, it was a lot of stuff all the stuff is stuff you would want to go to. Yeah. So picking the stuff was the hardest part, like the strategy behind it. Like it's a whole thought process in where you're going, how you're going to hit it, who you're going to talk to, and et cetera. Because honestly, it's a huge networking event. Yeah. I look at the Grammys as networking. I'm just going to celebrate something, whatever I was a part of, but also to like meet other like-minded people, essentially. So
that's always good. So I kind of want to get into the meat and potatoes of the Grammys. I just want to talk about it just a little bit.
Let's go.
Beyonce,
I'm cracking up.
How did you feel when she didn't get? You know, let me preface it just a little bit, because I don't want to.
The entire stadium looked confused. We were all looking at each other like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I thought we all just
Harry's house.
What? We all just
or anybody to win.
Like, well, we were all looking at each other like,
is this real life?
Okay.
Because there was a lot of good albums in that category.
We were so confused. We were so confused. I mean, I've never heard his work, so I can't say whatever. But I was disappointed. Mostly because we know what that album, what the Renaissance album did for us, you know, especially in a time where it's a very dark time. She was like, you know what? I could go dark. I could go talk about all of these issues, but how about I lighten the mood and make you feel better because you got to deal with it regardless, you know? And that whole stance on it is what made me be like, how can you not? But then you also have to realize that we are 13% of the population, which also means that we are a small percentage of the voting members. Even though they are doing better, we are still a minority percentage of the voting members of the Recording Academy. So it's like, even though to us and through our lens, you know, this is the album of the year, right? Everybody else isn't going to share that, you know?
Man, and I've heard Harry's House. I have heard it. It does have some songs on that bitch. Don't get me wrong. And not to give too much, this is the carefree black girl and not the careless white man. Hello. But no, not to give him too much. It is a good album. But to what you're saying, like, the way that she approached it, the artistry behind it, like giving people a whole new feeling, like liked it, hated, loved it. Like this was a topic of discussion and there was something for everybody to kind of take away from it. So when it got snubbed, my whole thing was, cause like I said, I have heard Harry's House. My whole thing was, okay, why was the whole seasoning of the Grammys Beyonce adjacent? When you're on red carpets, everybody's, so are you ready for Beyonce? Or what's your favorite Beyonce song? How was it meeting Beyonce? You seen Beyonce at the Rock Nation?
Right.
They're opening up Trevor Noah's one.
Well, she did make history. I mean, she won the most Grammy history. She's the most decorated Grammy Award winner. Like, no one has more than her.
Period.
But like I said, they still have a long way to go.
But to be it like, oh, Beyonce, but then when it's time to give Beyonce her things, the girls go missing.
I mean, that's how I feel about the Oscars too.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
The award shows, they haven't been
the award shows be playing.
They haven't.
But you got to realize it's not our lens.
Right.
Once you realize that it's not our lens, then you're like, okay, I see how you got there. Because it wasn't about us, you know.
In the first place.
We make it about us, rightfully so. We make it about us. But then also in doing that, in the same, you know, it's the Gemini in me. Yeah. I can also take a step out of that and say, yeah, well, they're not necessarily thinking about my lens, you know. Right. They're not necessarily, they don't necessarily align with my lens either, you know. And that's just a reality.
Yeah.
But I think it's also too, like, and I actually saw a clip of Eminem talking about that on TikTok.
A little bit.
Yeah, and he was talking about how, like, he doesn't go to the Grammys anymore. Random person. So random. But he talked about how he doesn't go to the Grammys anymore because if that's what it always feels like. It's like and there's a lot that goes into being nominated for a Grammy. There's a lot that goes into winning a Grammy, like behind the scenes. So it's like, to go through all of that as an artist, to go through all that press, to go through all of the obligations, to go through all the parties and the things that you don't want to do so that you can get in good graces with people and they can meet you and whatnot. And then you don't win. It's just like, well, what the hell? Like, y'all, and they knew or whatever the case may be. It feels like they knew and it feels like a setup or something. So it's like, I hate that for Beyonce because, to be honest, I only watch these shows for Beyonce.
Well,
so
I mean, she deserves a lot more.
Respectfully.
But, I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
We all, you know, that whole, listen, going to HBCU really set me up for where I am and how I am and how I move in life. It's like, you know, there are truths that we have to live with that everybody else doesn't. And whether they see it or not, is a choice for them and it's not a choice for us, you know? And so sometimes I'm like, yo, if they choose to see it, just the fact that you chose to see it means a lot to me because you could choose not to. But also in that same lens, what are you doing with that choice to see it? I also need more from you than just seeing it, you know? So yeah, it's deep. It's deep stuff. It's deep stuff.
So you talked a lot about how your job is a lot of basically like managing people's expectations and stuff like that. So can you talk about your most challenging career decisions that you've had to face so far?
I think I'm in my most challenging decision at this point because I feel like I had tunnel vision. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Now that I've done it, I'm like, okay, what's next? Right. What am I supposed to do now? I mean, I know that I'm supposed to, you know, maintain what I've built, you know, be consistent, grow it. But I'm like, do I want to align with, another attorney and kind of make it bigger? Do I want to, stay on my own for the whole time and maybe whittle it down to like a few clients that I'm doing stuff for all the time, or, like what's next for my career? Mm-hmm. That's been the hardest for me because I've always had a plan and a goal. Mm. So to not have one is kind of like, I'm scary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very scary because I've never been in that space before. So I'm just trying to get comfortable in this uncomfortable space of what's next, because I'm not really rushing to make a decision, but it's also for me because I'm so used to a trajectory. It's like, am I not doing what I'm supposed to be doing by not making a decision right now, So, and these are not, because I took a path that was unorthodox. I don't have a game plan. I've never had like this is how you do it. Mm-hmm. I kind of made it up along the way. So it's like, but I always made it up like at least 3 to 4 years ahead, Mm-hmm. So now I'm like, okay, what's the next 3 or 4 years look like? I have no idea at this point. I know, I'll take on the clients that I love or like, and I'll leave the ones who I don't. And that's another answer, I guess, is the breakup, because as an attorney, the type of attorney that I am, you can fire me at any time, but I can also fire you. Mm. So sometimes, the money isn't worth the headache, and all money ain't good money. Mm-hmm. So figuring out, that's been one of the hardest decisions for me, is figuring out, maybe whether a situation is something that I want to continue because it's good money, or not continue because of the headache, So yeah.
What's something? Go on.
No,
something gotta get you cut off.
That's what I was about to ask. Like, what's the headache? Like, I'm curious because you hear so much about like what managers hate about working with artists, what tour managers hate, what producers hate. Like, so what is your I hate artists?
Want to get somebody?
No, like,
so this is a very nasty. This can be, a very nasty industry.
Yeah,
there are people who call me and are like, I want to make sure that this person does not get paid. I want to make sure that, I want to make sure that I'm taking, the way that they'll say it is, I want to make sure that I'm taken care of. But it's really like, oh, you want to bite this apple that you didn't create, that you didn't sow seeds for or whatever. So situations like that, I'll be like, I'm not the attorney for you. I will refer you somewhere else because this is not the type of time I'm on. Or there'll be situations where I'm already in it. And then like, a producer may not want to pay their manager, or they may not want to pay, their booking agent or something. And I'm over here sitting like, I know you just got paid, you know what I'm saying? And if you could do that to these people who've been riding for you for how long, then what's stopping you from doing it for me too, So, I mean, it's a little bit different because I can sue you for it, but it's also, and it's like, come on. But, but it's also like, do I want to deal with the headache of having to think like that, like making sure, I'm on my P's and Q's in certain ways to protect myself from you. If I'm already thinking in that direction, then I don't need to be working with you. Exactly.
There's no trust.
Exactly. And I'm comfortable now in my career where I, like my no's are more important than my yeses. Because
come on now.
I need to make sure I have time to pour into the people I want to pour into, and I can't do that if I'm saying yes to shenanigans. Right? Exactly.
You just laid a word. You just laid a word. Them knows.
Very important.
Well, that sounds all like a lot. That sounds like a heavy load. I mean, you carry it so well. We definitely appreciate you coming out here and chatting with us.
Thank you for having me.
And putting the girls on game a little bit, because everybody wants to do something, but, having somebody on the back end that can, protect that is very important to us, very important to me. And I'm sure there's somebody watching that's going to get some gems from this. So I appreciate that. So now time for the ratchtivities. Ratchtivities.
I'm scared.
Welcome to Carefree Black Girl Podcast, where we talk about all things carefree, black, and ratchet.
I got ratchet.
No, we try to keep a pretty even kill. But today, we try to keep a pretty even kill. So you're in the music industry, the industry.
No, you're in the music industry. It's the rain.
So you got to keep your ear to the streets, right? Yes. So you know some of these songs, some of these haymakers.
Some of them.
So I'm here to put you to the test. Okay, so I am going to tell you. I'm going to. You cannot Shazam. You cannot Shazam.
I mean, like, you didn't tell me the rules ahead of time.
No Shazam.
Rule number 1.
Shazam won't help you. You can pull her out. You really can pull her out, but she will not help you because I am going to tell you a couple of these bars from some of these popular songs.
Okay.
And you tell me if you know them.
Okay.
Okay. The twist will be I will not read them or sing them in the way that they are performed. I am going to give you a little choice, a little rundown.
Okay, I got a question. I got a question.
Okay.
If I sing it the right way, but I don't remember the name, does that count?
We will give you half a point.
All right.
Kind of counts.
See, it's the lawyer in me.
I will give you a 50%.
Let's mitigate. Let's mitigate.
Yeah, let's mitigate. Hold on.
Order in the court.
It's the negotiator in me.
I mean, we learn from the best. All right, so jumping into it. Okay, I cut everybody off lately. Been feeling like a lumberjack. Fuck them. They really got me fucked up, and I wasn't going for none of that. None of that.
Lumberjack. I don't know. Nicki Minaj?
You're so close, but you're so far away. Would you like to do it one more time? Do you need
one more?
For the last one more.
Okay, one more time.
Cheerio.
Cut everybody off lately. Been feeling like a lumberjack. Fuck them. They really got me fucked up. And I wasn't going for none of that. None of that.
I don't know. Ice Spice?
Ooh. You know what? That is a good girl. She's a really nice lady.
She would say that. She would.
And I understand. But a little Southerner. It's from Glorilla. Tomorrow too. Cutting everybody off lately. I'm feeling like a lumberjack. They got me fucked up. Now we'll go for none of that.
Yeah,
that's how she.
I only know F and F.
Cracking up.
Catch up, gang. Okay,
that part.
Cut that out.
Gotta catch up, gang. So the next one is LOL. Pause. Did you take out the first answer? You see how that is for that is for that, but that is for that. That is for okay. Why is it hyperlink? Yuck. Okay. All right. Back on. Okay. Action. Yes. Feeling lost, but I like it. Comfort in my sins and all about me. All I got right now, feel the taste of resentment. One more time.
Period.
One more time. Feeling lost.
Is that Thames?
Feeling lost. You're lost.
Close. You're
there, but you're lost.
Is that Burna Boy?
I'm feeling lost.
Not that, Bram.
But I like it. You were closer with Tim.
You're in the right city.
I'm trying to read it and give it 10 times. All right, one more time, y'all. Feeling lost, but I like it. Comfort in my sins and all about me. All I got right now, feel the taste of resentment.
Oh, now I hear it.
You're hilarious. Hint, she was not at the Grammys.
This is the song. Okay.
Who was not at the Grammys?
She was not at the Grammys.
She was definitely.
Girl, she was there.
She was there. And she was a moment at it. She was there.
She was there.
Her and her friend.
She was there.
She was there with her baddie friend.
She was there. She was there.
Her ass.
Yes. She has a very important
Feeling
ass
lost. But I like it.
Yeah.
We gave her that one because that ass is world renowned. I mean, the music is good too. I mean, you're breaking records right now with your album. It's a pretty big deal. But that ass.
Okay.
I liked her first album better.
We already talked about that.
It's unfortunate.
And we 100% agree.
I do like this one too.
Yeah.
But the first one?
It's going on.
You know what we said, Ateara, was that expectations. Like the main thing was like, I don't want to pit the albums against each other because she's at a different spot in her life. But then Nika had also brought up on an episode where we talked about it, was like, yeah, that's fair not to put them against each other, but also like after having us wait so long, we do have a little bit of expectation. And for you to give us that album and it was what it was.
I feel like she gave us a little piece of it, you know, but she also wanted to go in a totally different direction as well.
Yeah, you could tell like some of the songs she scrapped.
I'm cracking up.
She put some things to the side.
To interviews about this. Yes,
it's probably gonna come out in a deluxe or something.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's what she said.
She needs to have a whole nother EP. I don't want a deluxe. I want an EP with all the shit that you really felt
I think she said she was gonna add like 6 songs. So at that point, that's a whole nother EP.
Yeah,
that you need to put that on a whole nother thing, because I mean, SOS,
for the girls,
I can
please.
For the girls. All right, we got one more. You ready?
I'm scared.
Speaking of for the girls.
For the girls. Ooh, from the girls. Girls. Oh, for the girls. All right. What's another accent? Because I can't. My Angelou is the suggested one, but I can't. I can't do that twice. I think I did it last episode, but oh my god, hold on.
She passed on my birthday.
Oh, that's sticky.
Yeah.
I get that money and I can't spend it because it's long. Hold on. I don't know. Oh. Okay. All right. Last one, y'all. So we making this one, about the fuck. So I get that money and I can spend it because it's long. The fuck. Everything on me, no, it's not rented. Bitch, I own the fuck.
The fucks are not in the song.
How do you know? How do you know? I get that money and I can spend it because it's long. Everything on me, no, it's not rented. Bitch, I own.
Period.
I get that money and I can spend it because it's
Stop
long.
saying like that because I'm just thinking City Girls.
Everything on me, no, it's not rented. Bitch, comma, I own.
I have no idea.
Me neither, girl. And it says Baby Tate, I am. Is what the girls say.
I love Baby Tate too.
I am healthy. I am wealthy.
I am rich. I am that bitch. I am and I am.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't recognize that lyric either, but that's a good song.
I know
I only know hooks, y'all.
I know the hook.
That's a fair one. That's a fair one.
I know that hook.
Because
I
y'all
couldn't
albums
tell you.
be 100 songs long.
Hello. I listen to so much music.
And just so just to end that out, the songs. What is in Ateara's rotation right now? Like, what are some good songs for you?
Yeah, what you listening to?
What you listening to? Put us down.
I am an alternative R&B chick.
Okay.
That's a good.
Did you get a notification that Daniel Caesar had just dropped something?
I stopped following him.
Me too. And that's why I was trying to figure out, Apple, what the fuck? Why would you tell me that Daniel Caesar dropped something? What about me made you think that I wanted to know that? Question mark.
Are you listening to that
I am
album?
a huge Giveon fan.
Okay, I had a Giveon moment.
It's over already?
I'm cracking up.
You saw him with
That's a fair
BZ,
one.
right? When he was singing. And after brunch, he's so short.
He is. I saw that somebody compared.
I don't know about so short. He just had on a jacket that was taken.
Everybody's tall to me, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's 5'2".
The jacket. He's not.
That's what TikTok said. That's what TikTok said.
How tall is Giveon?
He's definitely taller than me.
Hey Siri.
He's definitely taller than me. No.
What else you listening to?
No, he was mad sweet. I met him.
He's 5'8". Well, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Who else is on this
Not
list?
Nika short shaver.
Janae.
I didn't think it was on.
Janae is on his list. Ari Lennox.
Okay.
Of course.
Yes, Ari.
Of course,
We're going to see her live soon.
Dixon.
My client Dixon, he's amazing. Thames is on here. Jasmine
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
That's your
So
girl.
Lloyd. Yeah, I know. Lloyd was a time for me when I was in college. So his album, which album was this? I think Lessons in
The
Love.
Brown.
Lessons in Love. That is like, I still keep that on rotation. I don't know why.
I fuck with his first album. Uncertain.
Yeah, he got a few bops. I also am an Afrobeats person, so of course, like the Thames, lots of Wizkid and Burna Boy. Like, I love it. I'm also Jamaican, so I listen to a lot of reggae.
Okay. Mostly when I'm cooking.
That adds the seasoning. I love it.
I'm already knowing.
That adds the seasoning.
I'm already knowing.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what's on my playlist. Steve Lacy. I love Steve Lacy. And he's also a Gemini.
I'm just gonna throw it in there.
Steve Lacy. Yeah, I can see that.
Big Gemini energy over there. Kenny Lattimore. I don't know, that sounds weird, but I met him at a party, Grammy weekend, not this last, but the Grammy weekend before this one, the year before this one. And he was just so freaking sweet that I was like, I gotta go back and listen to some of his music. Because he was in this industry, man, you meet people and you're just like, oh, this is who you are as a person. You know, it doesn't always register through the music and through interviews and stuff because, you know, a lot of the times they're coached. So, like, to actually get a sense of who they are, like, and seeing how they treat people, it is very eye-opening, and it also affects how I listen or whether I listen to your music or not. Definitely. Which is why I don't listen to that person that you said earlier.
Child beast me.
Started with a D.
He's gone.
Oh yeah. He's long gone. I was like, why did Apple send me this, girl? I'm on your side.
So him and Masego. I remember Masego. I was backstage at one of his shows, and I was probably standing somewhere I shouldn't have been standing. I was very close to like where you have to go on stage, and when he was running on the stage, he like elbowed me on the top of my head, and he literally turned around and grabbed my face. He was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, you need to go. You know, he was mad sweet. And so from there, I was like, I'm always going to support your music because you're just a good person.
That's sweet.
So I go out of my way to support people who I meet, and they're like amazing people. Yeah.
That's sweet. He grabbed your face.
And he was like, oh my God. And I was like,
I would have kissed him.
I'm not,
Don't play with me like that.
Look, your manager is not about to come over here and
don't give me the platform.
Out of me. I'm okay with that. No, thank you.
Don't give me the platform because I got the plan. I'm Last thing, what is your favorite thing to cook? I can't hold it anymore.
So my favorite thing to cook is curry chicken because I love curry chicken.
You give me curry vibes. That's it. That's all she needed to know. That's all I need to know. Please, we can't go over any more time. But if you ever just randomly have an extra plate of curry chicken,
say less.
All right,
I would agree.
So we really enjoyed having you on the show. I'm so
enjoyed
excited.
being here. Honestly,
we wish you could be here.
Yes,
girl.
you know, I have definitely interest. Please.
We're begging, hands and knees.
Well, for me, I really like talking to you because I do have an interest in entertainment law. So for the people who also have that interest, can you just give some advice for them to like getting started or anything?
This is what I will say to you. If you do not like to read, this is not the job for you. It's nothing but reading, period. It's reading contracts, reviewing them. It's reading articles and reading books to hone your craft. It's a lot of reading. It's very reading intensive. So if you don't like it, this ain't it where you want to be. If you do like it, and you are a consumer of just knowledge like me, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm a black hole when it comes to learning stuff. Like, I'm just like, yeah, so what else? And how does this connect to whatever? That kind of thing excites you, then this is where you need to be for sure. So that's one thing. The other thing I would say is separate how you feel from how you move.
That's a good one.
How you feel should not ever dictate how you move. Those are two separate things. I'm not telling you not to ever feel how you feel. I'm not telling you to suppress how you feel. I'm just saying don't let how you feel dictate your actions.
That's a hard one, though.
It's very hard. It's something that you got to practice over time. It's something that I've been practicing for a long time. And I can say that I look back and I'm like, dang, you know, I could give y'all one if y'all want to. It's kind of crazy. It's a long time ago, so it shouldn't even matter now.
Please.
Yes.
So when I was in law school, I was dating this guy. He was an aspiring rapper. And it wasn't like super serious, but it was serious enough to where I was with him a lot. So while I was kind of hanging with him, his music engineer was actually an engineer for a lot of high-level artists. And I realized that his stuff was very disorganized. So I was like, you can get me in certain rooms. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean up all of your paperwork. I'm going to incorporate your company, and I'm going to get you set up how you're supposed to be set up, because I can. And you're going to get me in all of the studios, essentially. But the engineer and him were like, I think they were cousins. But so there was this one day me and him had been arguing back and forth or whatever. But I'm sitting with the engineer. And he walks into the studio with this girl. They're holding hands and he's like kissing on her. They sit down and I'm, typing on my computer or whatever. I look up, I see them and I go back to typing on my computer. And so in that moment, I'm like, I could make a shit show out of this. But I know that what I'm trying to do is bigger than this and it's bigger than him.
Hello.
So how about this? I'm going to act like nothing is. It was the best acting I've ever done in my life. I looked at my computer. I was like, "Hey guys, what's up? What we doing? You want to roll a blunt? What we want to smoke? What we doing? We having fun?" And so he's looking at me like, like waiting crazy? For it. He's waiting for it, and I'm talking to the girl like, "Hee hee hee, ha ha, whatever." And so there's artists coming in, and it becomes like a session. I met a lot of people that day that I still rock with. That like a few, not like maybe months after that meeting, they were like, "Wait, you were talking? Y'all were together?" And I was like, "We were kind of together, but I mean, clearly we wasn't." See how his friends, they were like, "No, there's no way. There's no way that you handled yourself that way. Like if you can handle yourself like that, you can handle yourself anywhere." And that one person has vouched for me in so much stuff, literally just because she saw how I was able to handle myself in a position where I could have made a big deal out of it. And I would have been in the right to do so, but I didn't, because at the end of the day, it wasn't about me. It was about their session that they paid for that I was just participating in. So,
man,
yes,
there's that.
That's a gem for sure.
And if you want to talk about like where I am and where he is, let's just say he's not rapping anymore.
Yikes.
That part.
He's scanning for that
That part.
We love it. So for people who want to follow you, connect with you, or even work with you, where can we find you?
So I am ashamedly addicted to Instagram. So Ateara Lenise, AtearaLenNise. DM me. I usually respond. I'm pretty good at responding too. So, and I'm pretty good at keeping up with people on there. So you can usually find me there. Also my email address is Ateara, Ateara @guardyourgifts.com, which is essentially my brand, which is Guard Your Gifts.
That's a good title.
Thank you. It's trademark.
And how can people interact with the brand, the Guard Your Gift brand? Is there like...
So I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm actually at a point now where I don't know if I want to do like Patreon or just like somewhere where I can just give people, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to sign up for, how to essentially monetize your IP before your big break, essentially.
You should. You have a very soothing voice.
Thank you.
Maybe some ASMRs are in your future.
What you're talking about,
a lot of people say that to me over the phone until they piss me off. Right? And then they're like,
show me the money.
That Gemini come out.
You're a little too calm for me.
They're not talking shit.
That's beautiful.
That's usually how I go.
Well, it's been a great time having you today. We really appreciate you coming out.
You guys are very cool.
Girls, tell them where they can find you guys at.
Well, you can find me, Nika, at Carpe Nika on Instagram and Twitter. And be sure to follow my brand, broketodope.com on Instagram and broketodope on Twitter.
Cute.
Yeah. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, you going?
I thought I was going in the line, but you can go.
No, go ahead.
It's your world, gang. Rock, paper, scissors for it real quick. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. My name is BrandNameShay. I am the host that does the motherfucking most. If you want me, you can find me anywhere that you can find people at. You can find me on Instagram at BrandNameShay or Twitter, BrandNameShay, same spelling.
Y'all on Twitter still?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Not really.
Here's the thing.
It's okay.
Just like you're ashamedly addicted to Instagram, Twitter, it kind of has, because I've been on Twitter for so long.
I get it.
That's the point.
And Twitter, I feel like my engagement is a little bit more organic on Twitter.
That's true.
And like if you follow me on Twitter, you follow me on Twitter. If you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on Instagram. But Twitter is like, I'm going to tell you what the fuck is going on and stuff like that. Girl,
I'm gonna get it every time.
Girl. But no, it's still fun. It's still like, a lot of good connections and stuff too. Until it fizzles out, because, Elon is on his shit.
Hello.
Until it fizzles out, I'll be right there until the well sinks.
I mean, look, I am not blaming you. I am not shaming you because I love me a Tesla. I'm not even gonna lie. But I love me a Tesla. So I get it. But Twitter is just, I don't know. How about TikTok? How y'all feel about TikTok?
I love TikTok.
Love TikTok.
I
need to get into it. How I need to get into it.
And
I love TikTok for what it's going to do or what it is for like the platform. How you can like how you can have a pink sauce and it'll go crazy just with one video.
Hello.
Like that's cool, and there's a good community on there. But it's just like for our generation of people, we're like the generation that's like, I'm into it, but I'm not into it. But I'm into it. It's like you're really right there on the line because you see the benefits, but also it's like this is not the social media we came up with. We start off with the Bebos, the Facebooks.
we started out like it was fun, and now it's work.
Now it's work. And a lot of the girls don't know how to work though.
This is true.
All
well,
right.
I love TikTok. I feel the same way in terms of like where Twitter is kind of your safe space where you talk about whatever. Like that's it for me. Like I love TikTok. You can find me on TikTok at New Sunny D, or you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Rebellious Kiana. That's RebelliousKiana. And then make sure that you're following us. Make sure you're following the pod, CFBG Pod on Twitter, and then Carefree Black Girl Inc. on Instagram. Use the hashtag. Let us know if you have any questions for Ateara. Make sure that you reach out to her. But also, hashtag it. Let us know that you're listening to the episode and what you think about all the gems that she has dropped today, child. And yeah, that's all that we have for y'all. We appreciate y'all. This has been Carefree Black Girl Podcast, powered by Revolt TV. We out.
Pew, pew.
Period.
Hey, Carisha.